Today, we will be talking about the sewer and water lines that run from the residential home to the municipality line. I'm going to introduce Jeff Olson, who works with Service Line Warranties of Canada, and we've been partners for over 10 years, right, Jeff?
That's right.
Right, over 10 years.
Yep.
And so I will let you guys take over.
Well, thank you, Fern. Appreciate that, and welcome everyone to our webinar today. There's a couple of programs that we offer in partnership with municipalities in Canada, and I'm going to explain two of those. And I have a program partner with me here, John Savoya from the City of Hamilton. So, in way of background, my name is Jeff Olson. I'm the Senior Business Development Director for Service Line Warranties of Canada. I've been with the company now for about 12, 13 years. Met John back in, I think, 2010 or so. John is the Senior Policy Advisor for the City of Hamilton. And at that point, we were offering the Service Line Warranty Program. Some of you may be familiar with that. We've had that as an offering with our partnership with AMO and LAS since about 2014. So as Fern mentioned, about 10 years now. Hamilton was the first to adopt that program in Ontario. And now we have another program that we'll be talking about firstly this morning called ServLine, and that one deals with leak adjustment programs. And Hamilton is also the first to have adopted that program as well. So again, what most of this is derived around is solutions for your ratepayers, for your customers on the private lines, whether they be leak adjustments when they get a high water bill, and or if they have issues with a water line or a sewer line. We'll handle that one secondly. The first one we'll talk about is the ServLine program, or the leak adjustment program. And John and I have done this a few times in the past. We actually did a webinar last year around this time discussing the Service Line Warranty Program, but we've also done some town halls in the past with LAS together. We've spoke at the MFOA concert, or not concert, the MFOA conference, I believe, John. I don't know how many years ago that was, but so we've done this a bunch of times together, and he's a good friend and a great partner, and we're happy to serve the City of Hamilton, and hopefully we can do the same with your municipality. So again, all this is kind of based around infrastructure challenges, which we all know is a national problem. Those lateral lines, and again, we're going to stay on the private side at this point, but these are solutions that we've derived to kind of handle some of the issues that you have from these lines. You can see there, obviously these lines are aged, they're underground. You can get ground shifting, frozen pipes, tree root intrusion, corrosion. Many things can cause issues with service lines, and then also cause leaks as well. Many of your homeowners, these are the things that they don't even know that they have responsibility for. They may think they're part of a homeowner insurance policy, which in fact they're not. We all know that these are the responsibility of the homeowner, but they are obviously connected to your infrastructure. So it does matter that they have integrity and they're not leaking, and when they are, they're fixed. Failed lines obviously can cause water loss, water leak. Same thing on the sewer when those things fail. It's in the best interest of both the homeowner and the municipality to have those lines in operating order and working and not leaking. So anyway, that's just kind of an overview. It's something that we all know. This first program that we're talking about here, it's called ServLine, okay? And again, it is designed to help homeowners and the utility for that matter when you as a homeowner get a high water bill from a leak. So as we know from those, it can be an unexpected financial burden. It can be very expensive, particularly if you're billing on a quarterly basis or something like that, where that high bill shows up 90 days after it starts. It's stressful for the city, the utility, for the homeowner, utility and city costs, related to these adjustments. Somehow you've got to offset those losses and send that bill over to the homeowner. And obviously significant staff time to administer the program. Many of you probably don't have leak adjustment programs. The City of Hamilton did have one on their own, and I'll hand it over to John here in a second. He can explain a little bit of the program they had prior to us coming in with the ServLine program. Do you have a leak policy in place, or do you not? There's not. I don't think there's a ton of municipalities that do. John, you may be able to know that a little bit more than me, but if you could speak a little bit to the background that you had in this space, and why the city of Hamilton adopted a program, and why you decided to kind of move it over to the Servline program.
Thanks, Jeff. Happy to be here. Thanks for to AMI-LAS for inviting me to speak. So the city of Hamilton has had a leak adjustment policy, or a leak protection program in place for our residential customers for decades. Actually, we were probably among the leaders in offering this type of program. So when it was first introduced in 1997, the program was implemented at the urging of city council, because roughly half of our residential customers were metered and half of them were unmetered, so they were being charged a flat rate. So if you don't have a meter and you have a leak, it doesn't impact your bill, but obviously if you've got a meter and you have a water leak, it starts affecting your bill. And so to bring some kind of fairness for those metered customers, the council decided to approve a leak adjustment policy. And so we had that in place for since 1997, and it has helped staff to address many customers, residential customers having leaks. However, we still ended up having a number of delegations that would go to our audit and finance committee, a standing committee of the city council, complaining that they either weren't eligible for a leak adjustment, or it wasn't enough, or some other limitation prevented them from getting it. And so there was three issues with our old leak adjustment policy that created the interest in the Servline offering. And so under our old policy, you were eligible for one leak adjustment per lifetime per account. So you only had one opportunity to adjust it. The leak had to be more than double of your historical bill, and had to be on internal plumbing. You had to justify that, you had to prove that it had been repaired, but the benefit amount was limited to 50% of what you incurred versus your historical average for that time of the leakage. And only the eligibility was restricted to owner occupied. So residential landlords were not eligible to apply under our old leak adjustment program. So we became aware of the Servline program offering through Service Line Warranties of Canada, since it's a subsidiary from them, and became aware of that. Our old program was essentially a cost shared program. The city would absorb or write off half of that excess bill caused by the leaks, and the customer was responsible for the other half. But that still meant that they still sometimes have substantial bills, and that would create still hardship. And then a lot of times people would have more than one leak in any period of ownership of the account. They would end up with several leaks. So when I became aware of this program, the Servline program, we sat down and wanted to see how could we address those three shortfalls of our program that still caused some pain for some of our customers. So after meeting with them, what we've come up with is the free, as you can see on this poster that we've created, and we've used this as a bill insert. You're eligible for one claim per 24-month period, so once every 2 years now, up to $3,000, and what the coverage is 100% of the amount you incurred over your average bill, instead of 50%. So it's full coverage up to $3,000 every 24 months on eligible leaks, which are basically our internal leaks, internal plumbing leaks, and your bill has to have at least doubled. The other piece we dealt with was the owner occupied. And so this is an insurance backed program. So there's an actual insurance policy. for the municipality's rate receivables, and our customers are able to go through Servline, who's the administrator, and you'll see on here on that poster they can call the 1-800 number. There's an application form that they can submit as well, and then they can request their a claim, and it gets processed. Prior to with the old adjustment policy, we used to get less than 100 claims a year, about $50,000 a year we used to write off in water sewer charges. In January 2022 is when the Servline program came into effect. Our claims, we were promoting it quite heavily. And so we had 170 claims, $125,000 in 2022. Last year, that jumped to 300 claims, and $255,000 was rebated back to customers. And in this year, based off our Q1 results, we're forecasting 360 claims and $300,000 in relief. And essentially, in order to pay for the premiums, the associated premiums, Hamilton has a fixed charge within our rate structure, and we have a daily fixed charge. It's expressed as a daily charge. So we increased the fixed daily charge by 1 cent. So at a cost of essentially $365 a year, residential customers have this coverage. All our customers are essentially enrolled or covered by it. And when a new account comes on stream, the same thing. And we pay the premium monthly based on the number of active metered accounts we have residential. And it covers up to residential customers that have their own water meter up to 50 millimeters in size, which, is pretty well every resident that would have up to that size of a meter. And it's gone very successful. We have reported back to our council. It's the service from the administrator Servline has been well accepted. Customers are extremely happy. We have basically eliminated delegations to council, and they were they're very pleased with that. I know as staff, there's nothing worse than having to bring these delegations to council, and and all the angst that it creates. So we've been very happy with the Servline policy here in Hamilton.
Yeah, thanks, John. So again, this is, to understand it, this is an opt-out type program where, as John mentioned, for about a penny a day, each one of their customers can access this program, and it's a much more enhanced version of what they were already offering. This just kind of highlights a little bit of what John mentioned. It's basically a win-win solution, which lowers, costs while improving customer satisfaction across the board. You can see there both utility benefits and customer benefits. We are recapturing the lost revenue from those adjustments, reduced staff workload, as John mentioned, and clearly increased customer satisfaction. Maybe, John, have you heard from any of your residents about this, ones that have accessed the program? Any thoughts that they had?
Yes, I think what it is just it's unexpected when you have these leaks, and people don't realize that, we bill monthly too. I should point that out. We bill monthly, and even with the monthly read and bill cycle, you could still end up with, one toilet leak, flapper stuck open, $500, just like that, right? And it's a big amount. So even when they were accessing the previous program, it still left a significant amount of money for the average customer to pay. And so then we have to deal with payment arrangements because they still can't come up with the amount of money. So just a peace of mind. And we've done what was shown before was a poster that was put up in our municipal service centers or senior centers or recreation centers, just to get the word out. We even got it hung up in local arenas. and just to help advertise and promote the awareness of it. And and people are like, how are we paying for it? You're already paying for it within your water rates. And they're like, we were very open and clear with council and the public when we increased the fixed charge by a penny a day for this purpose. And it's just been very well received.
And the same thing with, the stakeholders with the city of Hamilton. I mean, when you went to kind of, push this forward and suggest maybe go in this direction, I mean, how difficult was it to get, the city officials to want to agree to do something like this? And are they happy that they've done so?
Right. So, I mean, there was lots of support from within my department. There was some reservations from, of course, legal. Legal always wants to make sure that there are any issues. And so we went with a model where everyone's enrolled. So there's no opting in or no opting out. Everybody's enrolled. There are some legal considerations if to adopt different other models. And so certainly that is something to consider. But we've been, we've offered this type of, I guess, protection for, over 20 years now. So for us, it made sense to automatically enroll everybody into the program, since there's an expectation now by a lot of our customers that we have something, and now all we've done is enhance it. And it's surprisingly how many adjustments happen. Like we've seen a 4-fold increase now in our third year of offering the new program.
And did you have many opt-outs at all from customers, or not that many?
No, we don't offer opt-out. So our program is everyone's enrolled. Even when there's a brand new account comes on stream, each month we basically run a report of the number of active customers. So our premium is 27 cents per month per account. And so then if you do the math and add applicable tax, you get to essentially a penny a day.
So it really is a win-win for both utility staff and customers, especially if you're unfortunate enough to get a high bill like that. Customer pain here can lead to dissatisfaction with utility. We all know that. This kind of just highlights what it is that we're actually doing. But customer calls with a high bill, and then you've got to tell that customer that you use the water and you need to pay it. If you don't have an adjustment program, like John did in Hamilton, but others that don't have it, what do you do about that bill, and how do you write it off? And then the customer is obviously dissatisfied because there's no real good solution for them, and oftentimes they feel like the leak should be on the utility's responsibility, but in fact it's theirs. Talks a little bit about how simple it is actually to implement the program, but as John mentioned, you can do it as an added separate line item on the bill. That's a different way than he's doing it, or the blanket program that he's talking about, where it's bundled into the rate. And it Surfline leak protection obviously enhances the current leak policy if in fact you have one, or it brings one in if you do not. And then the way we actually do it is you send out a brochure. John mentioned a bill insert that you saw the pictorial of there a few minutes ago, to kind of give everybody awareness that the program is coming and it's available, and they will be able to access it once it's online. And then you see there only one billing is sent for the entirety of the program. And this is kind of a walkthrough of the actual process when the Surfline program is in place. But obviously a customer calls about a high water bill. The Surfline, our team, customer service team, then gathers the information, initiates the claim, and processes the protection. We then handle and verify that the claim meets the guidelines. We notify the customer that they do owe the bill that they would have had originally, just as their standard water bill. And then, as you see there, the water company receives a check for the customer's overage. So we're insuring the municipality there. And then we apply that $950 to the customer's account. And obviously you get a happy customer on the back end of that process. So that is the ServeLine program at a glance. And now we're going to spend some time here talking about the Service Line Warranty Program. So this is the one that we've been involved with AMO LAS on since 2014. Same thing with City of Hamilton. Hamilton was our first program partner to launch this program. And you can see some of the key stats there. So since 2014, we're averaging roughly 4.8 out of 5 stars on our customer satisfaction ratings. We have over 39,000 actual homeowners with the warranty. And of those, they've got 75,000 policies. So many customers will do both the water and the sewer. We also offer an interior plumbing and drainage program. Sometimes they'll add all 3, sometimes just one of the 3 or 2, but we have 75,000 policies. These are all basically in Ontario, and 79 Ontario municipalities have partnered with us in the program. So it is a partnership program whereby we work with the municipality. Municipality basically just partners with us to make the homeowners aware that the program exists. We do that through direct mail with a use of a municipal logo on the mailing itself. That's what the partnership is. It's basically just a co-branded marketing arrangement up front to make sure that people are aware that the program exists. But you can see there, I think, underneath the key statistics that we performed over 23,000 jobs for those 39,000 customers, and we've invested over $11 million on private infrastructure in Ontario alone. You'll see there a little snippet from the mayor, Jim Moffat, for the town of Manitouwadge. And it's been a very successful program. John can speak to his experience with City of Hamilton in a bit here. I've got a few more slides to get through there. If we can go to the next slide. Again, this is the Service Line Warranty Program that we've had in existence for a long time in Canada, but for about $8 a month, a homeowner gets coverage up to $8,000 on the sewer lateral to repair or replace a broken or clogged exterior sewer line. On the water line, it's about $6 a month with up to $5,000 per incident. We don't cap the number of incidents per year either. But that is to repair or replace, an issue on the water line. Could be a frozen line, could be a leak. But that's the coverage there. And then we do have the third product called the in-home plumbing coverage for around $9 a month and $3,000 per incident. We basically cover all the pipes inside the home. So it doesn't include the fixtures or the toilet, but it does include the interior pipe. So it's very effective for things like clogged sinks and stuff like that. The way the program actually works, once the homeowner is enrolled in it, if they have any issue on those service lines at all, they call a toll-free number that we have set up for them. We send out a locally based, fully licensed and insured contractor to do the repair or replace work. And there is no annual or lifetime limits, deductible service fees, anything like that. Basically, those contractor bills then go to us, not the homeowner. Repairs are all guaranteed. And we do send out a questionnaire to each one of our homeowners that we help in this program to find out how the experience went. That's where you saw that close to 4.8 out of 5 star rating. And there is obviously no pre-inspection required with it. Basically, we do have a 30-day wait before they can actually initiate a claim on that. But there is no pre-inspection required. That's obvious. There's no way we could inspect everybody's underground pipe prior to enrolling in the program. You'll see there at the bottom, 99% of all of our claims do fall below the coverage limits. So we think that the coverage that we're offering pretty much, covers just about everything that can happen on those service lines. Homeowners are often unprepared. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but many homeowners don't realize that private sewer lateral or water line extending from the property line into the home are actually their responsibility. They're not typically covered under an insurance, homeowner's insurance program. And then many believe that the utilities actually it's their pipe, when in fact it's the responsibility of the homeowner. One of the things that's very beneficial with this program, and it is optional obviously for homeowners to enroll, but when we do the marketing on this, we're bearing the cost of all that to to educate the public. And I know, and John can speak to this in a little bit, but that was a big driver of why the city of Hamilton wanted to move forward with this is, you know, Service Line Warranties of Canada is going to bear the burden to educate everybody that these are their pipe. These are the things that can happen to it, and these are the costs associated with that. And for a small monthly fee, you can basically mitigate that risk. What we also found too is we know with the economy in today's world, many people don't have the funds to you know, to offset a multi-$1,000 expense if they had a collapsed sewer line or something like that. So this is just peace of mind for the homeowner if they want it, right? So it's optional if they want to get coverage on that, if they're low income, if they're at higher risk, if they, you know, are on a fixed income or something like that. It's a very good program at a very low cost with a very high coverage limit to just take that worry out of their life. So I just mentioned it there, but it's very low cost for the homeowner. That's the benefit there. And again, we're going to educate all those homeowners when we send that direct mail piece out. There's a pictorial in there and it kind of shows them this is where the municipal infrastructure ends. This is where yours begins. And this is what it can cost to repair or replace those lines. For the municipality, and again, I'll have John speak to this when we get to his slide here. But over time, it'll obviously reduce calls to the city. Without this program, what do? They call you and they've got you coming out there to take a look at it. Only for you to then tell them, well, it's actually, you know, we know where the issue is, but it's on the private side. And there's not much the utility can do about that. The homeowner system in the spot of going to find a contractor, bringing them out there and, you know, having to deal with whatever cost is associated with that. Timely repairs reduce water loss from line breaks, obviously. It is a turnkey program. There's nothing the municipality has to do other than we do use the municipal logo on the envelope and the letter that we send out. The idea behind that is just to ensure that it's not a junk mail piece, that we're going to get some readership with that offering, and they'll know it's legitimate. Obviously, if we are partnered with the municipality, they're going to know it's a legit service and it's been vetted by the municipality. That's really the extent of the involvement with the municipality. We handle everything else. We provide the marketing, the billing. Obviously, we handle the claims and the customer service. There's also no cost for the municipality to participate in the program. We do share a 5% revenue back to fund different initiatives. Again, John can speak to that specifically when we get to the partnership there in Hamilton. But many have used it for low-income assistance or community charities or to offset a rate increase. This is where John can come back in. So I won't steal any of your thunder there, John. It's got some of the stats there for you to kind of highlight. But this program, as I mentioned, went in place, I think, in the fall of 2014 with the city of Hamilton. And with that, I'll let John kind of walk you through how it's performed there.
Thanks, Jeff. So I remember bringing this to council in 2012, I think it was. And our council, our councilors had experienced many situations where, someone experienced, say, a collapsed sewer line or crumbled old clay lateral out there, and then go to the councilor's office looking for assistance, thinking that it's the pipe, unless it's inside the house, it must be the municipality's responsibility, and it's not. And so then the councilors hand it over to our risk management, who say it's private side, and unfortunately you'll have to address that. And it's been a lot of uncomfortable conversations for councilors and for city staff because we're not able to help a property owner. So when we brought this forward as a concept, there is an ability to get a company that will offer a warranty to put back in working order the water sewer lines, or even the interior water and sewer lines. Our council was unanimous in their support for it, and asked us to look into it further, and then subsequently we did. And in 2014, we started our relationship with Service Line Warranties of Canada. We launched a program in September 2014, and you can see that it almost has averaged a claim a day since. We're we're approaching $5 million in cost savings now for our residents. We do get the customer satisfaction survey stats provided to us, and we see they continue to be strong satisfaction. It's shown itself in various ways. I remember when I went to council back in 2012, the idea that there would be marketing letters that we would have control over, but it would give us a means to educate our property owners that of their responsibility, which in Hamilton is from the property line into the house, is the private side. It's the 100% the responsibility of the property owner. And so I remember a counselor saying, well, why don't you just send out a letter to all our customers? Well, we have about 140,000 residential customers. So I'm like, well, do you want to spend just in postage alone over $100,000 to send that message, or we can have that message a couple times a year paid for by a third party, no cost to the city of Hamilton. So that education it's been great. So with 10 years of this, I don't think there's too many homeowners that are unaware that they have responsibility for those underground water and sewer lines. So we've definitely achieved that. Those that have enrolled have definitely been using the warranties. This isn't like some warranties people buy for some, for a TV or a fridge and maybe never forget about it and never use it. People know they have these warranties and they are using them. The stats speak for themselves. The other piece that has been nice is reduced calls to, Public Works would get every single one of these calls. It doesn't happen anymore. When an enrolled customer calls in, and let's say, for an example, they have a sewer lateral problem and they actually find the problems on the city side, on the public portion, they actually provide the video from Service Line Warranties contractor. They send that video to our Public Works. And so it just expedites the eventual repair that's performed by the city or its contractor on the public portion. So it's been helpful from that regard as well. And you see there on this slide, SLWC Cares. So they Service Line Warranties Canada has set up like a charity or foundation, and they provide pro bono plumbing repairs for those in need on an emergency repair basis. So there's been a handful of repairs that have been done for some of our low income property owners that have been in need. And so that's a nice benefit there. And I know Service Line Warranties Canada supported our local Habitat for Humanity build through both a financial donation and sweat equity. I know Jeff was here last June, I believe, installing some windows at a Habitat for Humanity window with all his colleagues from Service Line Warranty. So they do give back to the communities that they partner in. So we try to keep council up to date as to how the program's been working, and it continues to be a positive relationship.
Hey, John, can you talk just a little bit about kind of the procurement process we went through with you guys?
Right. So back in 2012, when I brought the concept forward, there were actually two companies that had approached us, Service Line Warranties of Canada and HomeServe, which is now the parent company of Service Line Warranties Canada, but they were two separate companies back then. We were directed to issue a request for proposal, so we issued an RFP. I believe it was January of 2014. We released it, and ultimately, Service Line Warranties Canada won that RFP. But since that point in time, HomeServe acquired Service Line Warranties of Canada, so they're one and the same company. That's basically been our procurement experience. And to my knowledge, there's no other alternative right now to to the Service Line Warranties Canada program.
That's right. And the city of Hamilton did set it up as kind of an interlocal agreement, correct? As a where others could piggyback.
Right. We had what we call, I guess, a piggyback clause. So other public agencies, other municipalities could utilize our contract, and that's essentially what AMO LAS did. They used our contract almost as a boilerplate agreement, and now it's offered to all municipalities in Ontario, which we're happy to see happen.
And then, but before we had that partnership, John, did you guys have issues with just contractors that may have been shady or maybe been doing things that obviously wouldn't have been approved by the municipality?
So right when we launched the program in the winters of 2014 and 2015, I'm sure everyone on this call will remember they were very harsh winters where we had unusual frost in the ground. So in Hamilton, we would typically have, less than 100 frozen water services in a typical winter. We I think peaked in February of 2015, we peaked at something around 1,700 frozen water services. And every night in the local news, you'd see Hamilton staff bringing bottled water, like big jugs of water to residents that had no water service, and they were scrambling trying to get water, their water lines thawed and the service restored. And what we found was those that had the Service Line Warranties of Canada coverage, were getting addressed fairly quickly, and then others that did not have the coverage were basically contacting private plumbers. And a lot of plumbers really just don't have the knowledge, the skill, or the equipment to safely and properly try to thaw out those lines. And a lot of them were leaving significant bills, $500 to $1,000, and didn't even restore the water service. Some cases, they just left the water meter on the floor. And it's like, it was just causing us more headache than not. And then our fire department was very concerned with some of the ways some contractors were trying to thaw out the line. So that was very quickly. It was in our first year of the partnership, so we didn't have a lot of customers with the water line coverage, but there certainly was a marked difference between those that had this coverage and were able to get a local licensed plumber who was utilizing the equipment that our public works preferred as the way to thaw out a frozen water service line. And that was another thing, is that in our procurement, we had identified thawing of frozen water lines as something that we would like to see covered for our residents. Whereas I think when we were looking at similar RFPs issued in the US, typically that wasn't there even for northern US communities. So it was something that we had put in there, and it's proven to be a valuable service for some winters for some of our customers.
Yeah, thanks, John. And the last question I had for you too is, I know that when we set this up as the agreement between SLWC and City of Hamilton, we did it kind of as a 2-year, and then we had a couple extensions in there. And can you just let everybody know, I think we're into the second extension. We've done the second extension. Is that correct?
Right. So the way we had put it together was it was a 2-year with 2 5-year options at the city's sole choice. So we have executed we have renewed for the final term of 5 years, and I think it goes to 2026. So 2 years from now, we would have to strike a new agreement.
And I think for all those on the line, what that speaks to is obviously what we're offering has high value. You can see that from the number of claims that we've serviced. I get the question a lot of, well, how many lines actually do fail? How many repair jobs do you guys actually have to do? And you can see, these are exclusive just to the city of Hamilton. If I gave you the numbers of all of North America, where we have, thousands of partners, inclusive of the US, we're in the millions of claims service. But just in Hamilton alone, to have 12,000 over the last 10 years, those are 12,000 folks that would have had out-of-pocket expense on all those claims. And the fact that we've got renewals with the city, we're obviously performing, to a degree that we're meeting all expectations inside of the partnership. So thanks, John, for sharing the personal experience there with this program. And so essentially what we're presenting here today is really a total solution for the homeowner, whether it be leaks and or line protection. And you see there, John mentioned it, but this HomeServe is our parent company. And we have both the serve line for the leak and the service line warranties for the line protection. It's a great solution for both you as municipal stakeholders and for homeowners as well. I wanted to see if there were any questions that came in, Fern, from any of the people participating in the webinar.
Here we do have a question. To confirm, the only involvement from the municipality is the logo on a mailer, correct? So there isn't any sort of endorsement, encouragement continuously required by the municipality.
So that question speaks to the service line warranty program. And again, the idea behind that, if we sent the mailers out, even on the municipal behalf, but without a logo on the envelope itself and or the actual letter, well, for the most part, it doesn't get read. It just gets thrown away. So then we don't get an educational piece on that. We're spending, quite a bit of marketing dollars up front, only to have those marketing pieces end up in the garbage, so to speak. If there's a municipal logo on there, we get quite a high open rate. If you get a high open rate, then you get a high read rate. If you get a good read rate, you're going to get a good chunk of your ratepayers that will want a program like this. You can see in Hamilton, John mentioned 140,000 customers. I think, we're a little less than 10% of those that chose to enroll. But it's a significant number nonetheless. It's still thousands of homeowners.
It's Jason here. I have a question, but I actually can't put them in the Q&A, so I have a privilege that others don't, where I can unmute myself. I actually had a question for Jeff and John. I guess for Jeff, it's in theory, why does this work? And John, in practice, how does this work? What is the value of the municipal endorsement of the program, and why is SLWC only looking to work in communities where they have the municipality's endorsement of the offering?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jason. Well, so the idea behind that obviously is for us to keep an offering like this at the lowest cost possible cost with the highest return for those that do enroll in it in terms of the homeowners themselves. So when we have an endorsement like this, and again, so we don't sell this typically direct to consumer, it's through these partnerships. What we're able to do then is, as I mentioned, have it at a low price, a lot of coverage, but also reach out to local contractors who then want to be in the program, because they know that we're going to be able to, their phone's going to ring. Obviously, we're going to have quite a few claims that come in through this. And so the value there is, because there's a partnership involved, we get a bunch of people to not only read the offering, but enroll in the offering, keep the prices down, and then keep the homeowners happy, the municipality happy, and local contractors that are doing the work happy. I don't know if that exactly answers your question, Jason. John could probably speak to, that same issue with the program there in Hamilton.
So from our perspective, from the municipality's perspective, one thing we wanted to assure our residents is that we have this partnership. So now we want to ensure that those contractors are licensed with the city of Hamilton, and that they will, if there's excavation work, they will pull the appropriate permits, get those inspections from the municipality. That's an assurance that, we also required workers' comp, WSIB coverage, that type of thing. So homeowners typically don't always do that when they get a contractor, but we've done that for them. So via the agreement or contract that we have with Service Line Warranty, so they're obligated to ensure that the contractors they use are licensed to do work in the city of Hamilton, that they will pull the permits as required, that they will provide our public works the video if there's an issue on the city side. That's all within the agreement. And so that is something we can assure, and even the guarantee of work. So the work they do, there is a guarantee, and it's all through that, governed by that contract between the city and Service Warranties. And so, you know, through our counselors, we've made sure our residents understand that it's got our logo on there because we have formed a partnership with this company. Now, if someone else were to approach us, it's not exclusive. So if there was concern by counselors or the public that, you know, what about if another company wanted to offer a warranty program? Well, they certainly could approach a municipality. In our case, we did an actual request for proposal. So this is all that responded was, at that 10 years ago, was 2 companies that are now 1. Responded to our request for proposal of this. It's not insurance. It sounds like insurance because of the terms that are being used, coverage and premiums and things like that, but it's not. It's a warranty service. You don't have to go find the contractor. That's the one thing that I think is of appeal to a lot of our residents, but particularly our seniors, is that you know, they don't know who to use. You know, when you're dealing with underground infrastructure, not every plumber is comfortable or equipped to handle the underground work. And so we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of our city has old clay sewer laterals. And so you need to have contractors to know how to do that type of work, do the right locates, do the right traffic control if that's required depending where the location is. So that's something that they have an assurance, and you know, because it's got the city logo on it, and we have this partnership. If the service was not up to residents' satisfaction, believe me, we would hear about it, and we haven't. You know, all we hear is complimentary things, and they're thankful for ensuring that this program is available in the city, and so that's where we're at.
Anything you want to add to?
I do have one
Wrap it up?
slide actually that's after that question slide that does have some customer testimonials on it. It may be of some value to
Oh,
just.
did you want me
put
to
that last
bring it
slide
up?
up. Yeah, and folks can read those because those would be from homeowners themselves. So there's a couple of them there for folks. I won't read them all off, but I thought maybe if we left that up and give people.
There's one from Hamilton. That's good to see.
Mhm.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us and for that thorough presentation. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us today.